What's going on, guys? So today we're talking about a brand new knife design to me, which I've been pretty impressed by. This is Orion Knives. I was introduced to Orion Knives through Instagram. I've mentioned this multiple times. Instagram is a fantastic place to be to see a bunch of different knife content that you're not seeing on YouTube, knife content that you may not see on Facebook or Reddit or other social media platforms. I mean, obviously, if you're into knives, it's probably good to be on all of them. You know, just everywhere social, you're going to come into different situations where you're exposed to different brands and stuff. But Instagram specifically, I just happen to see a ton of knife stuff I've never seen before. And there's a lot of companies like this that are just small guys doing their own thing, starting something. I thought this was really cool, so I wanted to share with you guys. So I actually printed out from their website, all right, which you can see is just orionknives.com. So I wanted to read the story real quick here because I thought it was kind of cool. All right, so you see obviously a logo here. We have kind of like a swoosh with 3 little stars. So it says, Orion Knives combines my love of mechanisms and the opportunities I've had within the knife industry as blade banter. I found early on that I've been fascinated with mechanisms and workmanship. The name Orion, as well as the logo, holds a special place for me as I have 3 boys and their favorite constellation is Orion. All right, this was going to be the model name of the initial knife, but it turned into the name of the brand. The sketch of this knife, June 4th, 2019, for a render contest, which I didn't win, but I ended up using draft site, then some assistance with CAD. All right, and it goes on and on. So I thought this was just pretty neat. First of all, having, you know, such a heartfelt story that goes along with these knives. This particular maker is 3 boys, and you know, those are the 3 little stars. I'm assuming represent each one of his sons, and you know, the constellation. It's just kind of cool. I like a nice story. Oh, my camera's not backed out all the way. Yeah, I really like a good story, you know, with a knife, and I don't know. It's just there's more of a connection for some reason. You know, when you just have some random brand, it's just a brand, just a company. You know, if you go into Walmart and buy some socks, you know, it's Hanes, like whatever, Hanes. But if like you know someone from Hanes who works there or has a involvement with designing the socks, I don't know, it has a more special meaning, doesn't it? So I just wanted to point it out. I just thought it was kind of cool. So anyway, this is a guy who loved knives, as many do, and it's really cool, I have to say, in 2022, or even starting a couple years ago, where you could just have an idea and run with it and you actually start a business. I've met and know literally dozens of people who just started their entire careers because they like knives. They like the hobby and they started, now they have a knife company. BRS, the guys from BRS, they just love Balisongs and they just started a company. Look at Jeff, Tough Thumbs, you know, and Gavco, you know, Mike. These guys just tinkered with knives, started customizing. Now they both make custom knives for a living and support their families. That is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. So this individual had started this company. Let me go ahead and open this up and show you some knives, right? Like, what are we looking at? This is a case. It's just one of the accessories, as is this cool sheath for the knives. But here, take a look at this one. And what's nice is this did come with a warranty card, all right, which does show a schematic or blown out image of all the parts. All right, so if you want to pause the screen there and gawk at that to see how these are put together. All right, we actually have 2 models here. I want to show you. So these are all the same. These are the Solaris, all right? And sorry if it is dirty. I did use these quite a bit. I actually use this one a ton. This one I only used a little bit. This one's actually customized. The parts are actually over there. This was originally, had a blue accents and the very same simple black G10 scales. But they do sell, this is almost a modular system where they're selling different parts to customize it, okay? So you can have a different pivot collar as well as the back spacer to match. So I want to show this a little more detail. You could basically customize these knives. There's one particular design right now. I'm sure in the future we'll have other designs, but the Solaris, that is the knife for the company to start out. And he sells basically different parts, so you can kind of customize it for whatever you want. So this is originally just a simple black G10 scale, and it had the blue pivot collar as well as a blue back spacer here, which I'll show you in a second. But I got these carbon fiber scales, which are really nice, and then the green set, because it really has this kind of, it just has a cool effect. I really like it, of course, with the black wash blade here as well. And of course you can see that logo that's on the blade. Very simple. All right, blade steel on here. I'll let that focus for you. It's 14C28N, which has been holding up very well so far. But again, just light use on this one. This is more the fancy, you know, customized one. All my usage really came off of this one. That's why it's so gnarly and dirty. But I do like the black and the red as well, all right, with the regular stonewash blade. Let me close this for a second just to show you. Let me move this stuff out of the way. So this case is an extra accessory. I believe these are 20 bucks. They're also really nice leather sheath as well. These I think he sells for 30 bucks. All right. But again, you could buy all the individual parts. Here's the original parts for that carbon fiber one. There's the scales. All right. There's a nice cloth in here as well. And here's the original spacer. All right. Pivot collars. The blue. So the blue and black look cool too. It just, you know, comes down to personal preference. What is nice too is that if you wanted to purchase one of the base models, but you wanted to customize it, they charge $5 to put it together. So if you're not like into taking knives apart, obviously you can see all the parts here. If that seems intimidating, you can give them $5, buy the other parts, and then, you know, they'll put it together for you. But anyway, let me put this off to the side for a minute here, because, oops, let's put that off to the side as well. I just want to talk about the knife and have no distractions in the background. By the way, that carbon fiber scale set as well was like 35 bucks, which is totally worth it if you kind of want to upgrade to carbon fiber. I'm not sure what I actually got on here. That's so dirty, but anyway. All right, so here's the knife design. When I first saw this, I thought it was kind of interesting. I was very, very curious about the ergonomics because it is kind of funky, and I find this to be true on a lot of knives. Some knives that look like they'd be uncomfortable are either extremely uncomfortable, just like you imagined, or they're actually really comfortable, and it's the opposite. In this particular case, this turned out to be really comfortable. My only real critique on this knife is the shoulders. I mean, it's not rough at all. It's actually a little smooth, but I think that if these were rounded just a little bit more, it would just really bring it to the next level. Besides that, out of the two, the other one flips totally fine. This one flips great. I mean, I could flip it out fine, but for some reason, I don't know if it just has to do with the detent or what, but sometimes this, I need a little bit more pressure to pop this one out, and I start getting a little more fatigue on my finger just from the flipper. So you can see there is a little flipper right there, flips out great. It is a button lock, which is on the top corner there. There is ambidextrous thumb studs, so you can flick this out with the thumb studs as well. And what's kind of cool is that because of this design, the flipper acts as a guard, but it's not like way up here like you would have on a lot of knives. It's actually set back a little bit, so you can use this as a finger choil, all right, to really choke up, and it acts like a shelf. So you're resting your finger down on this flipper. This is pretty unique. I'd never seen this before. That's why I was interested in the design to begin with. And it actually lends itself to be a really nice design. All right, there's a little bit of a thumb ramp naturally on the back here. There's no jimping or anything, all right, but that's where your thumb lands, which feels very comfortable. The combination of this little thumb ramp as well as that shelf, it just feels really good to get in there and start working. So I like it. It's just kind of different. Pocket clip's okay. It wasn't necessarily amazing or bad. It's not deep conceal or anything. You know, you have a probably like that much knife poking up, which is not really an issue at all. There's no lanyard hole or anything for this, so if you happen to be a fan of big old fat lanyards, you're kind of out of luck. But I, you know, rarely have lanyards on my knives. But overall, it just turned out to be a great knife. All the usage I got on it, it worked out good. I do like choking up. You don't necessarily have to. You can hold it back here if you want. I just feel like there's just way more control, you know, holding it up here like this, or again, keeping my thumb here is super comfortable on that little thumb ramp. So yeah, I just kind of want to introduce this a little bit. Blade here on this knife is 3.1 inches. It is a drop point blade. Very classic, very simple. Overall, it's 4.75 inches, all right, and the weight is 4.9 ounces. So it doesn't seem to be super heavy or super light, just kind of, you know, average, I suppose. Anywhere from like 4 ounces to 5 ounces to me is like an average folder pocket knife. But yeah, it's just kind of different. It's just a totally different thing. The guy who runs this company lives up in Oregon, all right, so it's Oregon designed, Oregon company, but it is made by QSP. That is the OEM, and I think that's awesome. I've had great experience with QSP as far as like, you know, fit and finish and overall quality. I still love their Parrot. They're super cheap little Parrot knife. anyway, I wanted to share this with you guys because I thought it was pretty darn neat. And, you know, it's a reminder that if you have a dream, you can run with it and you can make it happen. You know, as far as the knife scene goes, I remember when I was, you know, like a teenager, a young teenager, 13, 14 or so, and I thought, man, I want to be a knife designer. And I drew up some cool different knife designs, and I mailed them to every company I knew. I mailed it to Kershaw, and I mailed it to Spyderco and Benchmade. I got all really nice replies back, but the general consensus was, thanks, but that's not how it works. You know, in order to be like a designer for production companies like those, you really just have to be a knife maker. You have to be a custom knife maker, and what you're doing is you're working with them and you're offering your custom designs, but in a production version cheaper. All right, this is how these companies get custom designs. I'm sure they have, you know, some of them have design teams too that aren't custom makers, but you have to work for the company. It's not like they're just taking applicants by mail. If you throw them a design, they're just going to make it. It just doesn't work that way. However, these days, you could just come up with a design and you contact the manufacturer to make it, and you know, you work out a deal for a certain amount made or whatever, and it's, I don't want to say it's going to be affordable. It's definitely going to cost you thousands of dollars, but it's something that you can actually do. You know, you can make a dream come true. If you love knife designs and want to make your own, you could start a company. Like I said, I know several people that have been very successful just with having an idea, and that's all it takes. And I think this is awesome. And again, this is just a reminder of that dream come true. If you have a passion for something, you can run with it, and you can make it a life. You know, you can make it a business and make it a company, and who knows, it could be multi-generations. Look at all these people that own these companies. You know, Benchmade, Spyderco, these are all generational, you know, passed down companies. In both situations, you have a guy who loved knives, who started a company, who ran a company, and in both cases, well, in Benchmade's case, very sad that the owner passed away, but it was left to his son. In the case of Spyderco, you have Sal, who's the owner, Sal Glesser, and then you have Eric, his son, right? And you can see these people from lots of videos, Blade Show and stuff. They're very much part of the community. And when Sal passes away eventually, it's going to go to his son. You know, it's just kind of cool. In this particular case, because of the story here, I would imagine the same. You know, if this particular individual runs this company for many, many years, it might be something that's passed down. And we're just seeing the early stages of it. This is like looking at Benchmade or Spyderco in their first year, their first 2 years, their first 3 years. Just kind of cool. So anyway, I wish the company the best of luck. I like the first design. So anyway, that is it for now. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you very much. You guys send me messages all the time about different knife companies that are starting up, different knife designs, different knife drama. I had someone send me a message today talking about the drama. I don't know if I should mention it really. I'm not going to mention it. It's knife drama with a major knife person. If I mention the name, you'd be like, oh wow, what's that? What's going on with that? Well, it's not my place to spread drama. But I'm just saying, you guys keep me in the loop. It's very hard to keep up with all the knife stuff. There's more companies than ever. There's more stuff going on than ever. And my personal life has never been busier than ever, you know? So I thank you for keeping me up to date on what's up. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So that's all. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I will see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Take care.